so I'm not going to just talk on and on. I'm going to get right into it. So for history, we are using America the Beautiful. There is two textbooks. This is the first one. It has a map book that goes with it and a timeline. You can also get the student workbook, which we did not get. We're doing all our work in our notebooks. And so this book is very, very informational. So let's see if we can get to pages. And it's got, this is lesson one. And look at all the pictures, and we're talking about, different spots in America. And then it gets, on into the next few lessons with, the next lesson is the first people, the indigenous people and things like that. So we are enjoying it so far. This is our third week of school for this year, and we have been loving it. I will say, at the end of each chapter, there's not questions. There are activities for you to do. So this works great with the notebooking method, which is what we use for the majority of our work. So that is history, and I'm using this for 5th grade and 8th grade. And then spelling, like in my previous video, I talked about the McGuffey's Revised Spelling. I just printed out her lessons, which ones that were for 8th grade, and put them in a folder, and that is what we're doing for spelling. Nothing complicated. Okay, and for science, we have Apologia's General Science. I also did not buy the student notebook that goes with this. We are also doing this in a notebooking style. So she reads 2 or 3 pages a day, depending on, where she likes to stop at the on your own questions. So she'll read until she gets to the next one, answer that in her notebook, draw some pictures. I did purchase these. There are pictures that go along with everything in the general science. These are from Land of Kakiak, and so far they've been great because my 8th grader does not like to draw. So this helps give her something to put in her notebook along with writing. And then sometimes she will draw a little, a doodle maybe of somebody or something, but she enjoys being able to cut these out and paste them in her notebook. Now with the Apologia, like I said, it is heavy on experiments. I did not buy the box. If we come to an experiment that we can do with stuff we already have at home, we do. If not, we just read it and discuss it. It's nothing, like I said, complicated with any of that. And so at the end of each chapter, there's a study guide module, and she will fill that out and go over that. And then the next day I have the solution manual and the test. The test is in the little book, and she will take the test. I know not everybody, do tests. We do occasionally. I like to check their progress to kind of see what they can do without me looking over their shoulder all the time. So anyway, but now let me get into our vintage books. So for math, we are using Arithmetic We Need, grade 8. And this book, from 1st grade all the way through 6th grade, is available for download for free on the Internet Archives. But 7th and 8th grade, I have not found that on Internet Archives. So I searched and searched and searched, and finally was able to find this on eBay. But also, if you are interested in this, and you run across this book, and it says Arithmetic We Need Enlarged Edition, it is the same exact book as this. It's just a little bit bigger copy. So I had bought this not knowing if it was the right one for sure first. And then I found this one, and I was like, I'm going to get this one because it matches the other books that I have. But I also have this one. And so I keep I'm just keeping that one for now. And sometimes I like to look through it with her And that way I can be looking at a book and she can be looking at a book. I also have the teacher's guide. I could not find the actual, like, from this company teacher's guide. I did find a reprint on Amazon. I should have had all of this ready, and I didn't. But anyhow, but it's a teaching of arithmetic we need, and then it has a little 8 there. I really wasn't sure, there was no preview or anything, and I'm so thankful that when I got it, it was the exact one I need. The only downside to this, it's all in black and white, and the copies of the pages are extremely small. So it's a little hard to read at times, but it works good enough to help me check her answers for math. And so far, if you've watched any of my other videos, we're using this same series for 3rd grade, 5th grade, and 8th grade. Also, with our English, I am using Our English Language. This is grade 8, and this is the American Book Company, Matilda Bailey. I've talked about this in my other videos, but if you haven't watched them, you can go look these up on the Internet Archives and just get an example of what they are and what's included, because these are not free. They're just, you can borrow them for like an hour. But this is grade 8, and same as with the other ones, it has pictures, not as many pictures, obviously, in the 8th grade. Her little bookmark set up. And so far, she said, Mom, I really like this. I like it. And I said, so you don't want to go back, to the previous curriculum we used? She's like, no, I definitely want to keep using this. And from what I can see, we've made it to the end of the first chapter, which is a review. And the first chapter was talking about good manners and, when you greet people, how to talk to them and things like that, kind of like etiquette. And I like that because I don't think it should all be just grammar. And so she's been learning, how to enunciating clearly, things like that, and how to listen to other people. And then with the review, though, it does cover, the review at the end of this chapter is covering complete subjects and predicates, plural and possessive nouns, and so on and so forth. Things that she should have already learned up to this point. And she is going over that. She's not quite through with the review. And then we'll start chapter 2. But see, each chapter, and so far I found this in all the books that I have, start out with a story. And it has the pictures and then the story. And then at the end of the story, it kind of, it asks a few questions about, well, what can you do like the child in the story or the situation or, whatever. And so the next chapter is you in your letters. And I know it's not popular now to write letters anymore, hardly. But she does have pen pals, and so that works good, and she can learn the proper, way to write a letter, which she has studied that before, but it's great for review. But it does get on into, the grammar. It has diagramming and all that if you want to do that and stuff. We do diagramming, but it's not something I just push constantly, I don't know, I may get in trouble for saying this, but I don't see the purpose in diagramming, even though I learned to do it myself. Anyhow, we do it, but it's not something I think they're ever going to use again. And then our last book is McGuffey's, and this one is different. So if you've watched my other videos, we use the original series for the beginning up to the second reader, which is what my 5th grader is doing. This is part of the revised series. Now, I've looked through, and I think I've talked about this in my reader video. The 3rd reader in the original series is what she would be doing if we had started with that. And it has good stuff in it. But I just felt like for her, we're just going to move on to this 4th reader. And then if she wants to do any in the original, we will go back and maybe just, do that. She's a very fast reader. And right now, the way I have her notebook set up, just like I do the younger ones, is like one story a week, and once, I'll show you the notebook, but once those 6 weeks worth of work runs out, I will be putting extra pages for her in there, so she can move a little faster through her reading. She's always been an excellent reader, and she loves to read, so it's never really been an issue for her. So we're gonna add extra pages in and make her do that. But with the revised, you do, I don't know if you can see this, but you do have words like you do in the original, but these have definitions. So you can just read, you already know what the word means, you don't have to go look it up in the regular dictionary. And it also has exercises at the bottom, which are just questions after the story. And so, you know, I'll show you her notebook that I put together. And so I think I showed you my fifth grader one. And I done the same thing for her, but her pages are a little bit different on some things because obviously she's older. So with her Bible, we read the Bible, the Eager Myers Bible storybook. I did not bring that over here, but I read that for all. And then my little ones draw a picture and write their memory verse for the week. And we discuss the story. She writes her memory verse, but she also gives me a brief synopsis of what we just read. There's a little circle here. If she wants to draw something, she can. Like I said, not big on drawing. So anyway, we have the Bible pages first. And then I have her reading, which I just showed you the book. So on day one, she's writing her words and definitions, and she's doing her exercises. There's a little box here if she wants to draw, and so she just made a copy of this picture from her story and put it in here as her visual for that day. The next day is copy work. She has to copy something from the story. And this is the first year I've been letting her use pen, so we got a little work to do on that. And then she has to write 3 sentences using 3 of the words that she wrote. And then on her third day, she has to give me a written narration of the story, and so that I understand what she, to make sure she understands what she read and that she can retell the story in her own words without copying. And then on day 4, she has to write me an essay. The essay can be on any topic, about anything. It can be a poem, whatever. We are just getting writing in. And so this specific one, she got on the computer and looked at my encyclopedia stuff. That it's a very old encyclopedia. I had purchased the Robinson Curriculum CDs, not DVDs, just to kind of see what was there because I love vintage books. And there's an encyclopedia there. And so I just showed it to her and told her she could look through it and stuff. I said, obviously, it's not going to be updated to what today's encyclopedias are. She loved it. So she just wanted to sit and look at it. But anyhow, she picked Bushrod Washington, and he was the nephew of George Washington. So she wrote me an essay about him from that encyclopedia. And that's what she does. So 4 days a week, but she's sticking to the same story. So I feel like she could at least do 2 stories a week, like I said. So I'm going to add in extra pages for her for that once we get through with this one. Okay, so grammar is the same for her in the 5th grade. I just a page with lines. It says grammar and lesson and date, and they can write all their exercises out of the English book. Then spelling, I've showed this with my spelling video. The pages that I created to go with that, they're the same for every grade. 15 words, write 3 sentences. That's day 1. Day 2, we have syllables. So they break down the words, some of the words, just pick 10. And then they read me the words out loud to make sure they can pronounce them. And then the 3rd day, she writes 6 sentences using the words. There's a drawing space. My younger ones love the drawing space. She rarely uses it. Then day 4, there is a test. She does the test here. And she did have more words than what fit over here, so we have a little line. And then if she misses them though, I number them, and she writes them 2 times each. And then the next week, before, when we start our new spelling, I will go over the words that they've missed. They will re-spell them to me. If they cannot spell them, we keep working with it, and then we move on to the new stuff. You know? And then we also have been doing, for my younger ones, I had some spelling rule flashcards that I had bought, also from Land of Kakiak, one of my favorite shops for resources. And I'm writing them on the board, and so my 3rd grade and 5th grader are writing these down and learning them so that they can get, a little more practicing with spelling. So my oldest, we used Christian Light. Well, we used Sunlight for kindergarten, and we used Christian Light from 1st grade up to 5th, maybe, with pretty much most of the subjects. We did try Good and the Beautiful in there. We didn't really care for that. And then something else, maybe. But majority of, like, grammar, language arts stuff was Christian Light. So she learned a lot of this stuff. And like I said, she's a very good student. She's very good with remembering things. So she really doesn't need as much spelling help. So we're just testing words mostly. And then we go on to the math pages. These are the same for her and the 5th grader. My 3rd grader book is a little bit different, but it's a 2-page spread with a grid, and just says math, and then she can write the lesson and the date or the page numbers. And then she just works out of that Arithmetic We Need book to see how far, she can get that day. And we don't have a set time with that. I just kind of like, oh, we need to do this page, that page. One thing I do like about the Arithmetic We Need book, and I might have talked about this in the other video, some of the sections, and it'll have a little O in parentheses in it for oral. So you just do that out loud. You don't have to write it down. And then it'll have a smaller section with the exercises in it that has a W, which is for writing. So you put that in your book. So it's not every problem on the page has to be written in your notebook. So we do that. And then she has science. Like I said, this is what we do for Apologia. Let me see if I can find where she put, okay. So we have a 2-page spread. So I have the page where lines, and then I have a blank page. And this, she has been doing a timeline, so she's been learning history of different scientists and stuff. And then there's one of her little pictures that, I bought. And so that helps a lot for her to have a visual, since she does not like to draw. Which is amazing to me, because I love art, I love to draw. She did not inherit that from me. So anyway, we are doing social studies, and so same thing as I showed you in the 5th grade book. So yesterday, they were doing lesson 5, and they had to write down words, and then they had to draw the picture of the words, which she drew over here. And she did it in that blue ink that's really light with that pen. So it's kind of hard to see. But that's the majority of what we do. And obviously on her own time, she picks books to read. She likes to work ahead at times. So this is my 8th grade. This is what we're doing right now. It could possibly change if we finish up something early, or if we just decide something's not working. And that's with any grade. If something's not working, I am not hesitant to change. We will definitely try to find something that is helpful for each specific child, because they all have different ways of learning and things like that. So just a quick. Oh, and I do let her, after she does her math, she goes back with this calculator and she checks her work. And that has been very helpful for her, because it makes you feel really good when you say, oh, I got that right. I wasn't sure. So right now, obviously, we're still in the 3rd week of school. We're just in the 3rd week of school, so she's still in the review mode of most of what she's doing. But anyway, so notebook that I made and created. I don't have these in my Etsy shop. I might add them eventually. Still kind of tweaking them to see how, I want to do. But so far, these are working out really good. I will say I I love putting them together, you know, with the little binding and all that. And having just, you know, where they can just flip it open and then do that. But sometimes it's helpful if I have their notebooks in a 3-ring binder so that we can add in extra pages if we need it before the notebook runs out, or if, you know, if we need to just take something out or whatever. But so far, this is working out with this actual notebook. So just to quick overview, McGuffey's Revised 4th Reader, Our English Language Grade 8, Arithmetic we need Grade 8, and like I said, you can also find same, you know, version, it's just enlarged. So this is Grade 8 as well. This is the teacher's manual that I got on Amazon. And let's see, Science, General Science for Apologia. Spelling is McGuffey's Revised Speller, free, online. And I just, like I said, I do have the book. I showed it in another video. But it was easier just to print out just her lessons. She didn't have to flip through the book. She didn't have to wait on her siblings to get done writing their words or looking at them. Everybody has their own folder with their things. This goes with the science, Land of Kakiak, and then history. Like I said, America the Beautiful. And there is, like I said, 2 volumes. So this is a thick book. And it is for 5th through 8th grade. So it's kind of nice that my 5th grader and my 8th grader can do this together, because my 5th grader is still learning a lot of things, you know, about writing and all this. And so it's helpful that my 8th grader can help him with certain things. And it's really cute. They sit, we have a couch in our schoolroom, and a lot of times, or they can sit at the table, and they'll sit beside each other, and they take turns reading the chapter, like a section, out loud to each other. And so that seems to be working really well. And then they take turns writing in the little timeline book, but they each have their own map book. And they fill the map book out. It tells you for each lesson, like what to color, what to circle, and things. So you got your geography, obviously, in here too. And this is all about the history of America. And so today I've kind of went a little long. I didn't really mean to go that long. But so far, we are enjoying our subjects. Things are looking good. And like I said, we are not hesitant to change if we need to. So thank you so much for watching if you've made it to this point. And thank you for supporting my channel. I'm getting a little more comfortable making these videos and just trying to share some information that may not be out there. Like I said, I love the vintage books, but if I see where the vintage book is not working, we will go to a newer version of things. And I like to tell my children, and maybe I look at it differently than others, math is math. You know, 2 plus 2 is always going to equal 4, and things like that. So, and I do see where, like in this book, she has some equations to solve. They are not near about the equations that some curriculums are already introducing. And we do have the Learn Math Fast system with the pre-algebra book that she will probably go through once she gets done with this. So, you know, sometimes you may have to find other supplements to go along with it, but your basics are here. You've got your multiplication, your division, your addition, subtraction, fractions, geometry, basic geometry. It's included in this vintage book. So, you know, all vintage books may not be helpful, and everything in the books may not be helpful. You know, some things may get a little outdated, but overall, you can use these books, glean the information you need, skip what you don't, and then just supplement it with something else. So, anyhow, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a good day.